All right, guys, here's the GM walkthrough of their coach book. So the first tab you've got is your homepage. This is just going to be your basic information about your team, your bonuses, things like that. As you can see, you've got your team name at the top. Make sure that that doesn't get edited because that will screw up all these other formulas here. So first thing is you have your rep. What that is going to be the conference you're in. If it's in the pros, it's going to be your AFC, NFC, and then if you're in your minors, it's going to be your SEC, Big 10, Big 12, things like that. And any player in those conferences, you'll get a 10% bonus on them. Next is your home state. Any player that comes from that state, you get that 20% bonus. Then you have your pipelines. Right now we have 2 pipelines, and there's potential to get a third one later. But right now, any players in those 2 states, you get a 15% bonus. So in my case, Texas and Georgia, you get those 15 bonuses for players from those states. Next is prestige. Your prestige will go up and down each year based on how you score, what bowls you get in, things like that. Right now, everybody's going to start with a 0, and that will change based off of your way you finish for next year. So it can go up to a bonus of 20% as well for prestige. Next is your tax bracket, determined by your state. Florida's a 20. Medium market, same thing, determined by your state you're in, your school's in, so 15. Then we're going to have our rivalry games. You have in conference and out of conference, so we'll have to get those at some point. They'll pop up there when we have those. And this row right here is going to be your rewards. So instead of MVP, you'll have Heisman in the minors, Lichtnikoff, Walker, things like that. So you have that. So when that happens, if you have a player on your team that gets the MVP, they will get a 10% bonus for their position. So if it's a running back, all the running backs will have a 10% bonus, and all others will be 5%. And then each of these rewards for each position will be 10% bonus for that position. Next is your scheme, which run shoot is mine. So the quarterback gets a 10%, running back 0, wide receiver is 10, and tight end. And then market, that is an adjustment that will be made based off of looking at the coach books, looking how your team's prepared to everybody else's. There's a huge there's a huge swing between the first and the last. That's where that market will come in. So in that you have a large market versus a small market, so there'll be an adjustment there. It could be a plus number or it could be a minus to kind of even out those coach books a little bit right now. Because there are some teams and there are some states that have a huge bonus over other ones, and it's just not fair in that situation. So we'll make those adjustments based on the numbers each year, so that can fluctuate as well. Playing time, this is going to be based off of rankings or ADP whenever we decide to use. And if you have a certain amount of quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers in that top number, so I think it's say 24, I think for quarterbacks, 12, something like that. Every quarterback you have in that top 24 will depreciate this by 5%. So everybody has the 20, so everybody's equal on that. Then next you have your Hall of Fame, which would be your Debbie in the minor leagues. So based off nobody has any points this week so far, so we can go over those in different podcasts or different recording here, just how you get those rewards. Then you have your visits. So right now we're just using coach, offensive coordinator, and players coach. Shows what bonus you get for each, and how many you have, and how many you've used. And then down here we'll have a max recruit tracker. So right now you can get 45 recruits, how many commits you have, and how many you have left. So next is your coach book. This is going to be where you want to come to put all your points in. So you're going to have, of course, the players, the position, the rank. This is the bonus that you have on a player. And I'll go into how that's different in the recruiting tab when we get there. This is your actual bonus you have on each player. So then you have your preseason to National Signing Day. So you have 3,000 points on the pro side, and I think it's 5,000 on the minors, and you can put 100 points on each player. So the way it should work is you can choose from anywhere from 1 to 100 in the first week. When you do that, and it should automatically subtract off of there to see how many you have left. If you want to get rid of that, all you have to hit is delete, and that will take away, because there is no zero, so just hit delete, and that will take the points off of there. So we'll put 100 back here on McCaffrey. Say we'll put 100 on Lamb, and then Amos and Brown will put 50 points. And you can see now what it's doing here is it's showing you total points you have on that player. So we'll calculate everything from the week, and then this number is with your bonus. So right now there's a 0.325 on McCaffrey, so you get 32 points. Basically added for 1 point, you get 3 points per every 10 points you put in there. And same thing for Lamb, things like that. So that will be there. So now we'll go over to our visits. So when a player hits 100 points, they are eligible for a visit. And they will automatically pop up in this row here on F of what players. So you can see you have McCaffrey and Lamb, but Brown was only 50, so he was not eligible for those visits. So as soon as they're eligible for that. So what you have to do here is just find their name, select that, and then you have your visits. So you have your 3 head coach, your 4 or your 5 offensive coordinator, and then all your player coach, your 10 of those. And once you use one, it will disappear. Just a reminder, you get 1 visit per week on that player, so you can't do multiple visits in the first week. And then you can also get only 1 coach, a different coach per week total as well. So you get 1 head coach visit, 1 offensive coordinator, and then 1 player coach in this situation. So you get 3 total visits on each player in the beginning. And then over here, your total bonus will come over here on how many visits you have, and then that will automatically come back over here on so you'll put that on Lamb, brought over those points, that's the extra 50 points with his points with bonuses. So once again, as you can see, that disappeared. The head coach one disappeared from the list, so you can't use that again. So now we're going to go to players. What this is the list of all the players and how they value each of our schemes. So you have your scheme, playing time, prestige, media tax, all those things, and how they value that. So like McCaffrey here, he values a scheme as 3. So instead of getting a full bonus, 1 point bonus, or whatever the bonuses you have on them, it'd be at 3/4. Same thing with playing time, prestige would be at half, media half, and then if you have a 1 or 4 would be a 1. If it's a 1, it's only a 1/4% of that max bonus they have on there. Scheme, the same thing. If they're quarterback, I would get a 10% bonus on that player, where this one was a 4, where the Allen valued at a 4. So you can see I get a 1, and then Hurts was not, is only 1/4 of that, so 0.25 for him. Same thing for playing time, you get your 20% reps, home state, and then our bonuses for our awards. So that's where your total bonus comes from, is the max that you can get on your points, and that's where that bonus comes from. Target, this is where if you put any points on a player, it will pull them over here, so you can kind of judge of who you have points on and who you don't. So you can just kind of run a list of players that you have points on, how many points you have on them. So recruiting, this is how you can see how you shape up to the other teams. So right now, I just created this one in NFC, so the only one that's in here, there shouldn't be actually zeros, is only the Rams from the one I copied over this sheet from. So this will show you how you compare to every other team, and this is not their true bonus. This is actually the percent of the max bonus. So if you have a 1, if the max bonus is 1 and you have a 0.5, you'd have a 0.5 here, and same thing. So it's just your max, your bonus divided by the max bonus, and that's the percentage you get. It's actually a percentage of the max and not the actual one here. States, this is just showing what state you have in the neighboring state. That will come into play with your home location when people transfer out, things like that. That would dictate it there. And then your data, this is just the master sheet basically of where your sheet will feed into the master sheet. So don't mess with anything here, but you can look at it and it just shows your targets, how many points you have on players, what you put on them each week. And then this is all just funneling over to either a master sheet or into this one too. So that's just what that data does. not really anything to do on that. So the main thing you're going to be working on is your coach book and your visits, and then all the rest is kind of supplemental things to help you out and make decisions on that. So what you're going to do too, tip on recruiting, is you're going to look at your rank versus all the other ones, and that'll kind of tell you who to go after. Typically, you have a shot for your top 8 or top 6. Technically, will have a shot on any player. So if you're outside that top 6, you may want to consider not going after those players, just because if you're outside that top 6 and everybody's putting max points on them every week, you actually won't make those thresholds. So that's a quick rundown on the coach book. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Appreciate it. All you guys participating, and glad to answer any questions. Appreciate it.